Yo, yo. Hey, what's going on, y'all? So, I'm back from last week's. Had to take some time off and make sure my dad was okay. He is doing well, and I appreciate all y'all for who came in and asked about him. He went bowling, and so yeah, I guess he's doing all right. I talked to him. He seems in good spirits. I don't think he is going to go back to the hospital anytime soon. He's just stubborn. So, Echo, let me turn one of these cameras off, or one of these volume. I'll turn this one off. So what we looking like now? Everybody can hear me? Is it good? Do I got an echo still? No echo? I got that off. Okay, cool. Let me fix that. I had to re-download some stuff, so give me a second here. Turn that off. Display one. Let's see. Picture out of here. Source. Got you there. We'll just move him out the way for right now. We'll save that. Let's see what this one looks like. Nope. You can't do that. Let's see. We'll do turn that picture off right there. Well, we won't do picture for right now. It's too much. I don't feel like figuring it out right now. I know it's just a few clicks of the button, but we'll figure that out later. Okay, let me see. We'll just uncheck that, see if that works. Picture. Okay, I think I got it. Hold on. Move that back up a little bit. Save. Got it. All right, cool. So yes, as I was saying, my dad, I'm gonna take the sweatshirt off too. My dad is doing a lot better. Again, I appreciate y'all for checking in, making sure he was good, I was good. Cool. So, before I get started, I want to let y'all know I am doing a toy drive for this year, very first toy drive, and I'm pretty excited about it. So, the drop-off dates will be next weekend, the 18th and 19th, and you know, for kids from 0 to 12, and I'll be at the shop, 3115 Piedmont Road, from I think 11 to 2, if I'm not mistaken, 11 to 3, something like that. But I've been putting out flyers and stuff like that, so if you can, drop a toy off, and I'll take them to where one of the things we're supposed to drop it off. It's next weekend. Yeah, 18th and 19th is the toy drop off. From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It should be pretty good. The Mad Penciler's first toy drive, and I'm pretty geeked up. So I think today, do they need to be wrapped? No, unwrapped toys. Unwrapped toys, new, preferably new. No used toys. Want to get a kid something new to play with on Christmas. So I think for today, one, how's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. I'm doing well. I honestly don't think I'm gonna be too long, y'all. Tomorrow is my 50th birthday, so I usually don't explain anything or go into detail about birthdays in general. But I think we are going out of town for a long ass day trip. So we'll need to get some sleep. And so that's going to be the reasoning for me not being on too long. Thank you. My leg itches like crazy, but it's good deal. Yeah, I can't wait to jump back in on that, man. But I am going to do a torso study, if you will. I'll just go step by step. I think I'm gonna do like 1, 2, 3. And just how I go from stage to stage here, doing these torsos. I think I'm gonna move this down some. There we go. Now we're looking like money. So I am going to be using my friend Jasmine. She is a Cutie Pie Sensei, I think, on Instagram. Her real name is Jasmine, but she does really great cosplay, and I just use her a lot as reference. So, zoom in just a little bit. I'll just slide this one over. So this is step 1. And if I'm just doing a torso, I'll look at the reference and see where this line of action is. And it's this here. This is her rib cage and her hips and waist and all that stuff like that. So I start every piece like that. And obviously, there'll be shoulders. She's got her hand up here, but I'll do that on step 2. But this is the main thing, kind of what I do when I first start. And actually, my pen is all gunky. And I always look for reference or pictures, or even when I'm drawing stuff in my head or from my head, I always look for something that has some movement. And it's usually called the line of action or S-curve. And it just is saying that, okay, this body is in motion. And then for part 2, so again, we'll do the S curve. I'll have the circle, oval, and this kind of depends on the way the person is shaped too. So it could be like a block. They could be kind of blocky, or whatever the case is. Rib cage and hips again. And then I'll just start hanging and using shapes. Shapes is the main thing here. So she's got her hand up here by her left shoulder. I'll draw a little circle to indicate another shoulder joint. She's got her arm coming down. And then here I'll just start hanging other pieces. This is her other hand. It's kind of coming towards us. So there's some foreshortening happening. And then here I'll start connecting the dots a little bit. We're not doing the head, but I'm just putting this in here just to demonstrate the blocking out process, if you will. She got her hair coming like that, so yeah, this will be a pretty cool piece. She's got a belt happening here, and like I said, right now I'm just blocking in. All this is block in. Step 2, and then from this I'll start filling in and kind of making sure that I got correct points. So like this is her chest. I need to make sure her hand is up high enough. You know, I look at the reference and I'll go have an imaginary like dotted line going across. And if this top finger needs to hit the top of the shoulder, I know I have that in place, and so on and so forth. So block in and shapes. I got my drink. I think it's Pepsi and tequila, maybe. So what y'all been up to, man? I have been I've been tattooing a lot lately, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining, but just been tattooing more than I thought I'd be tattooing. This is supposed to be, quote unquote, the slow season, and it's not been slow at all. Again, I can probably thank COVID for this. People tend to be at home and, you know, want to do tattoos and start thinking about what they've been wanting and all that good stuff. So I'm very grateful, but I've just been tattooing a lot. So it's a good thing, man. What y'all been up to? I actually hadn't found any new series except for The Mandalorian. Boba Fett showed his face, which was awesome. So yeah, that's all I've been doing, man. Tattooing, watching Mandalorian, messing with these trains. And so here again, I am blocking stuff out. And I'm just feeling around. You know, again, I'm holding the pencil kind of light towards the back, just so I can float around here and not put any real hard lines, if you will, just yet, because I'm still just feeling what needs to happen. And so, like I was saying here, I have that dotted line. I'm looking at this finger, and it goes all the way over to her top of her shoulder over here. And so I know this is where this needs to be. And then she's got her deltoids here, triceps. You really can't see, I don't think she's like muscular fit, but that's the actual muscle that would go there. She has hair coming down this way. Like I said, I'm just doing a torso today, so that's there. And then she has her hand is here because it's kind of coming out at us. So I'm gonna just block in this hand, just so I know kind of that's where it's going. Y'all know how I am with my hands, so it's got to be right. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. See if I get some light to come over there. Work, maintain sanity. Yes, sir. Golden Django are legit, man. Yeah, they cooling the game now. Can't wait to take some time off after Christmas. Yeah, it'll be good. I think I'm off most of that last week in December. It'll be well deserved, you know. It's always good to take some time. Zoom in on this real quick. Yeah, get that time off to yourself. Been watching a new season of The Repair Shop. Yeah, Eddie was telling me about that. I need to add that to my list. He said it was pretty good, so I'm gonna check it out. And so I'm kind of really measuring stuff out right now to make sure stuff is hitting where it's supposed to hit. So I'm going in just a little darker, just so I can start seeing where all these where it looks like it's just scribble. I'm going in just a little harder now so I can separate kind of what I got going on here. Because some things may change, right? If you look here, I had that line here, but as I'm looking, I think it needs to come down just a little further. And again, I'm not pressing as hard, but just a little harder so I can now distinguish the wrong line to the new line, if you will. I guess the way her body is, look at some weird little fat thing happening right there, or a crease in her waist. Then it's like a bunch of wrinkles. So her chest is causing the wrinkles. It looks to be one of those spandexy type shirts. So, and it's got some shade, some shadows, stuff happening right here. So I'll just scribble that in real quick. Like nothing serious or nothing, but and then I'll kind of draw the actual shading to where I think that shading is going to be. So that's what these lines are, and then I'll just scribble it in just a little bit. And then her shirt has some logo on here, T. I don't know what character this is. I think it's a Teen Titan character, if I'm not mistaken. She's got a wrinkle up here happening. And then there's a shadow happening where the deltoid is, so I'll just scribble that in just a little bit, really light, in case that changes. The top of her shoulder also creates its own little shadow happening right there too. And then it comes into where that crease is. Yeah, I think I'm cooking with Chris now. Actually a little fold her shirt. And this is where her arm bends, her elbow is behind here. And so, yeah, if we'll zoom out a little bit. And if I slide this over, this is kind of what my process is. Step 1, step 2, and step 3. I start with a line and just some oval shapes. Step 2 is more of me blocking in, really using different shapes. I'll use squares for hands, little circles here and there for joints, and just keep filling in a little bit. And for 3, I do all of that and then kind of start adding the details and all that stuff like that. And I love doing details. I love all the wrinkles in her shirt, the creases, the gloves. Did we talk about Thanksgiving? Was y'all Thanksgiving okay? I can't remember. Did I miss that? Was that when I had called out sick? See, has some shadow up there, or her collarbone. And there's a few creases up there too. So before I even go any further and making really dark details and stuff, I'm gonna mess with these hands a little bit. And again, I'm just blocking stuff off. So I already have, you know, the shape of where that hand and what it's doing up here. But I don't want to forget it as I'm drawing this and then figure like, oh, that's wrong, or it's too small or something like that. So I'll go right in and just start messing with it. I won't make it like as detailed as it needs to be just yet. Again, I'm just making sure it's there in proportion, dang, can't talk, in proportion to her body. And we only see 3 of her fingers as knuckles, if you will, here. The other one, she has kind of coming up. We got just a little bit of space here. And, you know, as you're drawing stuff, and this is for all my artists that are out there watching, don't get hooked up on it needs to be perfect, like the actual reference. You know, you're an artist. You do your own interpretation. Now, if you're going for a super realism type thing, then yes, you need to make it look as real as possible. But if you're just practicing and doing some representation of stuff, then it doesn't have to be perfect, if you will. And see, this is too big, so I'm just going to bring this in some, because I already have the frame, if you will, quote unquote frame. It's just too big, so I just need to bring this in some. So I'll just redo what I've done here, just pull it in, and maybe just make certain things just a little smaller, like maybe her fingers could be just a little smaller. And then we keep going, or you keep going. And that's better. It's all better. It was low key. David made amazing. Oh, nice. Okay, David. Fancy sandwiches. All right, so I like that hand. I'm gonna work on this hand just a little bit. Her thumb is kind of this way. And again, I'm just blocking these hands in. I'm not being too serious right now because I know things may change. And I need to be able to adjust. And for me, I don't erase a lot at all. I think I've said this several times. I like to see all this energy on the page, so I'll leave all this stuff here. Some of you all may like to erase, your mistake lines or whatever that is, or just lines that don't need to be there anymore. I like looking at all that stuff. For me, it just shows the process. That's all. And that hand, the finger comes down there. So I'm gonna leave that there right now. I'm not sure how much I like that. I think this here needs to probably be stretched out just a little bit. But I think I can live with it for right now. And again, we're just concerned with the torso anyway. So that's my excuse to get out of it. And I'm pretty cool, happy with what's happening up here. So I can kind of start dark and start going in and getting some good detail happening. Oops, my bad. So I'll zoom in a lot, like especially if there's a lot of detail that I'm looking to do, I'll zoom in all the way so I can see what's happening. It always amazes me how a sketch can go from some lines to something serious just by. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I really like drawing. You're just stacking lines on top of lines and on top of lines, and it, like you said, it becomes something. And then for like shadows and stuff, I'll either do like circles, kind of what I'm doing now, just some back and forth. And so right now I'm just building up layers, if you will. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now I know at the bottom of her breast that it's really dark. So if I want, I can go in there pretty dark. But even then, I'll still just I'll press a little harder, but I'll still just keep building up the layers. One is easier to blend, if you will. Like, so if I go in really hard, it's going to take a little time to actually blend it out to nothing or to the lighter area of that shade. So I'll just keep blending and keep blending and keep blending. And then she has like a dim light happening right here. And then I'll do the same up here, you know, just and keep working it and working it and working it and working it until I'm, I guess, satisfied with this blend. And then I can go in and just start going pretty dark. Because there's enough layers for me to be able to fade out from really dark down here. And again, if you get up here and happen to make something a little darker than what it's supposed to be, it's fine, man. It's a drawing. This is your world. Do you. But if you're looking to, again, do some realistic stuff or even, you know, get in as far as doing comic book work or, you know, illustrative work, then, you know, it obviously has to be anatomically correct. But if you're just sketching for you, do what you want to do. A little thing happening here. My head keeps hitting this other phone up here. So is anybody going out of town for Christmas? We all staying home because of COVID? What's happening? I know for me, I ain't going nowhere. I'll be here. We might go to my girlfriend's parents' house, but that's probably about it. So I think YouTube is asking me, am I still listening? And yes, I am. Can y'all see that good? Yes. Definitely staying home. Yeah, I feel that, man. And right now I'm just messing around with different little areas of detail as I'm looking at the reference and, just making sure what I'm doing is pretty much on point. And as far as like, whenever you have a seam in some clothing or something, one, it's always best to have a reference for stuff like that, because that seam is going to wave and curve and everything, and you want, as an illustrator, you want to visually draw that. And so, you can see here, I'm gonna zoom in some. Right here, that shadow got wider and then it cut back up and got really thin. But that seam also is bending and then it comes back in. So that shadow caused, or this seam and the wrinkles caused that shadow. And you want to be able to draw that as best as you can, but to sell that there's a wrinkle happening here instead of just drawing a straight line showing the wrinkle. And that just comes with practice and drawing all the time. But that is some of the detail. When I say I like doing detail a lot, that's a lot. Most of the time, a lot of the detail that I like doing is showing wrinkles in clothes and stuff like that. Man, I keep hitting that damn phone. And she has like a very light shadow up here. I don't think I'm gonna do that. So, and when I decide I don't want to do like a certain thing, when I'm drawing these pictures or whatever, the reason is I feel like it'll take away from what I want the viewer to see, right? So again, as an artist, you have that creative freedom to draw this the way you want to. I feel like if I'd done that, I may do a little here, but I feel like it would take away from something, so I will opt not to do that. My little train's still doing this thing, riding around the track. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. I started with just a little scribble one way, and then I'll, turn the pencil and make it scribble the other way. And then I'll just keep layering up, layer after layer after layer. I think this fades off into here. And there's like a really dark shadow happening on that side of the arm. because there's no shadow here. So I'm assuming her light source is maybe straight on. Maybe like one of those ring lights or something like that. So and here I'm still kind of just filling out, right? I'm filling out how this shape and the shadow is sitting on her arm. If it needs to be pulled down a little more, I'll pull it down some. It looks like it connects here just a little bit. So I know it's really dark on this edge, and the darkness fades out here, and then it gets light. So, you know, that's another reason for just layering after layer. So if I went in pretty hard here, you know, it would just be a little difficult to try and blend that out to here. But since I'm going light and layer after layer, I can kind of control that better. So she has some shadow up here. And now this scene comes up here. And there's a few more little wiggles of it here. And then I'll just fade it off. I'm really not concerned with connecting those. I'm more concerned about the bigger wrinkles in those scenes, and then what shadow is created from these wrinkles and stuff like that. So now I'm kind of just going in. I'm happy with where things are sitting. Like I said, I think I don't know exactly where her light source is coming from, but there's a pretty dark shadow on this side of the arm. Also, what I like about shading and shadows and stuff, it brings form to whatever you're drawing. So now this is starting to really read like the arm is a cylinder with the shadow on the side. Now, because we're programmed in our minds and what we see, we automatically know that's an arm, we automatically know it's round. But as an artist, I need to show you that it's round and not just leave it there with two lines going down to be an arm. And that's what a lot of the shadows do. For me, it gives stuff dimension. Lighting is everything. I can add the little darker outline. Sometimes I'll go a little thick. I've adopted that as just being my style as far as having thick blue outlines. Stomach. And then sometimes, you know, again, it starts becoming who you are and your style. Like, I'll just put a line there to indicate, you know, ribs and shadows. I won't even do anything, but I just put it there because I think it's cool. There's no rhyme or reason. But on some of that stuff, you only do it once you know the rule. Like, you don't want to just start breaking the rules and don't know the rules. That's what that is. So this is the other scene that's happening up here. I don't know why it was making that loop like that. Yeah, there we go. Like I said, she has hair coming through here, so, and I think her jaw is like this. But again, we're not going to be too concerned with that. Just we can indicate it's happening. Her head is kind of going like this. He could probably come out just a little further. Yeah, much better. So even with the T, right? I had it down a little bit like that. I felt like since this is the center of her chest, and I'm looking at an imaginary line like that, the T needed to be on that plane, if you will, versus like cocked down a little bit, because now it throws everything off. So and then we can mess with the hands just a little bit. We don't have to mess with them too much, because one, she's got gloves on, so you can get away with a little bit of mistakes with gloves, because they're bulky. They end up making their own shapes. They got all kind of wrinkles and seams and stuff happening there, so you can get away with some stuff here. And when I say get away with it, you could sell that it's still a hand, not just a blob of whatever just sitting over there. Boom, boom, boom. Another crease over here. And I'm not sure what kind of gloves these are. I don't know if they're work gloves or, like I said, I don't know what character this is from Teen Titans. I hadn't watched that show in a minute. And that is how I do my torsos. So if we start from the beginning again here, let's get this tilted right. Like I was saying, from step one, I kind of start with a line of action or S-curve. It could be whatever you prefer to call it, but just to show some movement in what I'm drawing. Then I hang the chest and waist. Always start with that. I'm not concerned with the head. I'm not concerned with the legs and arms or nothing. I want to see movement in the torso by itself. Step two, then I start doing shapes. So this progresses into that. I'm looking for hand shapes or the next thing, and head shapes, or more of what I'm looking at after I do this part. Also, I'm looking for little joints, and I'm also figuring out, is stuff high enough? Is it low enough? And this is really light and loose. Just so I'm not going in really hard just yet to figure out where stuff needs to line and how it needs to, if I need to tilt the hand more some way or whatever. And then 3, once I'm satisfied kind of with this, I'll make smaller adjustments. I keep going on from here to there. And then once I'm settled in and happy with what things look like, then I'll just kind of go in and start shaping out shadows and stuff like that with the pencil. And I'll lightly just draw them in there so I can see where that shadow is. That's pretty much it. I know I say that's pretty much it, but oh yeah, I think that's it. I think that's who she mentioned. But yeah, I know I made it sound simple, but this is, these steps that I go through every time I draw a picture. Anytime I draw anything, really, I start with a really light sketch. If I was drawing and looking at my trains go by, if I was drawing a train, a boxcar, it would be the same thing. A few steps. Okay, so I know I want it to be 3D. I'm not drawing anything straight on unless the client or a client wants something straight on. But for me, I'm drawing stuff 3D, 3-dimensional, adding some depth to it and some movement and just some more excitement than, if I'm drawing a boxcar and I draw that's like, okay, whatever. But if I add and tip it just a little bit, tip it this way and up, now I can see under it. You can see the wheels, you can see all the little tubing and all that stuff under there. So now that would be like number 1. And if I went to number 2, so I'd have another box. The wheels, I would start, getting a little more detail on the wheels and the couplers and all that stuff like that. And still just kind of sketching out, seeing what and where things would fall. I would obviously have a real picture because I don't know by memory that I can draw a boxcar to make it look real enough. And now some doors, road name, what company is this? We'll say Railbox. Some louvers here, the metal ribbing, and now we got tubes and tanks and brake wheels and all that stuff here, and a little platform up there. And then the next one would be these again, but now we'll just start getting into the detail. So I do it with everything. And I think as an artist, we need to do that with everything and practice. If you don't plan on being a comic book artist, as a comic book artist, you got to draw everything. You got to draw chairs and lamps and bottles, and that's probably one reason I never went into comics once I found out what it all entailed. And people keep asking me to this day, hey, I want to do a comic. Are you free? Like, no, I'm not free. I'm not free to do a comic ever because there's just way too much work and not enough money. And I don't want to sound like I'm just out for the money, but I'm more looking at my time actually being spent on things that I want to do. And secondly, a close second or third is now, yes, the money. So I won't do comics because it's a lot of work, and then I'm just doing other things too. So I think if you want to be a comic artist, though, you need to do a lot of drawing of everything. Now, if you just want to be like a character artist or a storyboard artist, you can probably get away with not doing everything very detailed. You still gonna need to know your perspective and need to know how to draw all that stuff, because certain scenes may call for certain things, so you'll need to be able to make it look like what it's supposed to. But maybe just sticking with character art, and that's kind of where I leaned to when I worked in the industry for a little bit. I was more of a character artist versus an everything artist, because I don't want to do everything. Sorry for that tangent, but I just wanted people to understand that as a comic book artist, you have to know how to draw everything. To make your scene look like a scene, to make it look believable. Even like if we were to capture this, where am I at here? Just the scene here, right? So yeah, we could draw me just fine, but now you got that, where am I at? Okay, you got the line here for the corner, and then you got the ceiling jetting off. So that's already perspective. Now you need to make that, the blinds and all that with the perspective. And then in the background, you got shelving that needs to follow that perspective, that line. You got posters on the wall, you got stuff here, you got a table in the back. So it's just, you have to be able to put all of that in a scene to make it believable. And just doing page after page after that, I'm just not doing that, man. It's a lot. So if that's what you want to do, practice and get your weight up and draw that stuff over and over. Me, I prefer to just do character designs and drawing different characters and being done with it. I don't have to worry about all that stuff in the background. So, I guess I'm done with my rant. With that said, I appreciate y'all for hanging out. I'm going to enjoy my day tomorrow and do absolutely nothing. That's my plan. We'll see how that happens, and we'll see how that works. But let me skip this dude. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for hanging out, man. If there were any artists out there, I hope you guys learned a little bit and seen some stuff that will help you. You have to value your skills, man. Yeah, bro. I mean, no one else will. And when they see that you don't value your own skills, then that'll doubly make them be like, oh, yeah, I can get whatever I want out of this person. So make yourself valuable. You are worth something. Don't take any wooden nickels either. Wash your hands, wear your mask, stay safe out there in the streets. You still got to go out there, but be careful. And I will see you all next week. Next week. Peace. Next week.